Good evening. I am about to start my talk today for new teachers and how to support them into having all the success and health possible as they embark in probably one of the most beautiful careers there are out there, and also a career that can be at times challenging. So this one is I'm going to support them into building more tools for their toolkit so that they can navigate this school year with poise, even though it's going to be a little crazy, but feel good. And yeah, so let me just start by sharing my screen so that I can do this. There we go. And I'm pretty sure my I don't know, let's just go to the very top slideshow. Here we go. Just put my little face over there to the side, and here we go. Yes, so new teachers, the odds are in your favor. I picked one of my expressions from the Hunger Games because I sometimes feel like teachers are not, young teachers, new teachers, or really any teacher is not really aware of some of the things that's going to happen to them. So I'm using that as a joke, but also as a starting point for this presentation. So tips and tricks for a great first year. And here we go. So yes, this is recorded. So my name is Eugénie Ducatel. My story is that I am a teacher. I've been a teacher for 30 years. I started when I was 22 years old. I am originally from France. I moved to Canada when I was 13. I did my education faculty in Calgary, Alberta. I started my high school career in Kelowna, British Columbia, when I was 22 to 26. And then I did my master's in Ontario in French studies. And while I was doing that, I was teaching also at the university. And I went back to teaching high school in 2008. And the interesting thing about all this is that I experienced a professional burnout in 2018. I walked out on the job. I did. I was not having any fun at that point. I was working all the time. I was not enjoying life. And so sometimes your mind or your body just tell you stop. And so that's what happened. And then in a fantastic kind of way, I had to radically take care of myself, reclaim my mental and my physical health. Of course, I did therapy, a lot of meditation. I had to go back to exercising, a lot of sleep, but I also hired a coach. And I'd never really heard of life coaches before. And this person made quite an impact on my life. And so then when I decided to go back to teaching high school, I did so part-time so that I could do my coaching school at the same time. So now I am a life coach and I am a wellness and mindset coach. And I support professionals, especially teachers, in experiencing more mental health, more physical health, so that it transcends in every aspect of their lives so they can have fun at work and outside of work. So before we start, any burning questions or comments, you can ask me questions as we go along. You can also email me, and I will be glad to answer your questions. So hopefully you will get some tidbits, some gold nuggets, some takeaways during today's presentation that you can tuck away in your toolkit and make good use of it later. I think you will. So tips to enjoy the first year of teaching. I'm going to cover a few topics. First, that you have picked, of course, an amazing career. I'm going to talk about managing expectations. I'm also going to talk about creating time for easy days, light days, booking time off. I will also explore the idea of building alliances, a little bit like the Hunger Games again. I will point out that healthy boundaries are very important. And finally, look at some fun meter questions outside of school, at school. How much fun are you having? So basically, you guys, if you're watching this, it's because you are a person who is interested in education. You love people, you love students, you love colleagues, you are passionate about something that you want to transfer, transcend to other people. And you have this innate gift of caring, of being of service to others, and wanting to be there for them and wanting to see them grow. So truly, I can't think of a better career as myself being a teacher than you've picked. So yes, you will experience incredible moments of connectivity, success, laughter, growth, and magic. And you will deeply, deeply care and love your students. And you're going to have a great time no matter what. So I would like to talk about managing expectations so that you can explore feeling more compassion. First year of teaching, you're all geared, you've got your university in your pocket, and the expectation, for example, is that you're going to be amazing at everything right away. So I would like to perhaps explore the biggest expectation to manage, which is the curriculum. I didn't do a PDF on this, but you've seen the curriculum because you're studying it or you're teaching it right now. And let's just say it is impressive. There's so many little things that you need to teach that you are probably feeling overwhelmed, which would make complete sense. And I just wanted to create some compassion around that you might not finish teaching the curriculum, and it's okay, because in truth, not many people do. My personal story here is a bit of a contradiction in the sense that my first year teaching, I believe I did cover the curriculum, but I would like to point out that it was not a very healthy year for me. I was 22 years old when I started teaching high school in a French immersion school. I had 7 classes, 210 students, and I worked from 5 a.m. till about 10 p.m. every night. And every weekend, I was working at least 5 to 8 hours a day. I was smoking a pack of cigarettes a week, and my suppers usually were cookies and a salad. So, yeah. And my house was literally 600 meters away from the school. So, school was my life. That was it. And of course, it was not that healthy. So, give yourself some grace. Just know that it is actually quite difficult to teach the entire curriculum. And when you feel frustrated that, oh my gosh, I'm falling behind, just breathe into it. It is absolutely normal, beautiful people. Because if you're trying to win at working the hardest, at completing the curriculum, at getting the gold star on your shoulder because you showed up every day, you were never sick, you never took a day off, this is what you're going to look like, people. I know he looks fantastic. So that is definitely not your goal. Your goal is to finish healthy and happy and content. So watch out for those shoulds and should haves because that underlies judgment. So yes, I should have done this. I should have done that. Instead, just say, well, what have I learned? And I am work in progress and I will do better next time. Yeah, so more empowering words are very healthy around the inner critic. Um, Teachers are by nature a little bit like A types, people who like things to be organized, they like to be efficient. So when things don't go to plan, which honestly, on any given day at school, there's always something that's not going to go to plan. If you accept that, then you can kind of roll with it and perhaps even laugh at it. And then you can just say, ah, well, there you go. There goes my class. There was a fire alarm. Well, that's that, right? So I should have planned for a fire alarm. Well, you couldn't have. So there you have it. I'm doing the best I can is a good one. You are. Every single person who starts teaching, you're doing the best you can. What am I learning? This is a good spin on, okay, something didn't go right or as I expected. So releasing the judgment and going, okay, well, what did I learn and what can I do next time to make this happen? Another one that you can use is I cannot make a mistake. That is very troublesome for teachers or professionals to say, I cannot make a mistake. What I mean by that is you didn't mean to make a mistake. You made that decision with the tools that you had at the time. Therefore, it was not a mistake. You know, the hindsight 2020, after you've learned the lesson, then you realize it's a mistake. But while you were in the process of doing something, it wasn't. So you're a work in progress. This is a tomorrow problem. And give yourself some beautiful love and compassion around that. So I'm going to just quickly talk about Biology 101 and the facts that we all know that you need to sleep, people, as much as possible. You need to exercise. You don't have to go to the gym every day for 2 hours unless you want to. Even if you do a walk every day for 20 minutes, that should do it, you know? Eat, for the love of God, eat something healthy. If you don't have time to cook, go buy something that is ready-made that is healthy. Have fun. And of course, meditation is going to be something absolutely powerful, life-changing, that will bring you back to your conscious mind. I have webinars about meditation, but I just want you to know that as a person who dealt with severe mental health issues, with my breakdown, with my burnout, that meditation helped me come back. And it has made me more compassionate with myself. It has made me roll with whatever's happening with a sense of humor instead of, oh no, this is terrible. So if there's one thing you can take away from today's webinar, is definitely to look into meditation. So how does stress impact the brain? So I don't want to go into too much detail. I have presented it here, but basically, you guys, when you're stressed out or when you're tired, but let's just focus on stress right now, it's like the stress has shut your brain off. The only thing it can think of when you're stressed out is to fight or flight. And therefore, this is the part of the brain. It's called the amygdala, by the way. And it just basically hijacks your brain. So that means when you're stressed out, like severely stressed out, because of course there's gentle stress, which helps you move forward in the, in as long as it's not sustained and chronic, then a little stress is okay. But when you're hijacked by the stress and the fight or flight, this means you can no longer access the magical power that you possess. You no longer see the opportunities, the solution, or the humor of anything because you are faced in a door. You're knocking your head against a door called panic or stress. So there's the prefrontal cortex, there's the hippocampus, and the amygdala. And I'm noticing that I made a spelling mistake, but that's okay. So yeah, this is you when you're feeling stressed, you're not going anywhere. So the three main players. It's interesting for you as teachers, for yourselves, but it's also interesting for you to know that when your students are stressed out, they're also experiencing the same thing, which is why you're learning all about that right now in teacher colleges, that to make a student feel comfortable and at ease in a class is so important because it gives their mind space to be so that they can learn. So the prefrontal cortex is where you make decisions. This is your executive control. The deductive reasoning, where you pull different things from the air and you make it happen, this is where it happens. You problem solve. This is where you're organized. This is where you retrieve from your memories, from your long-term memories, so you can access your knowledge and find a solution. This is where you're able to concentrate and where you can plan. So this is really important for you to have access to this beautiful thing called the prefrontal cortex. Then you have the hippocampus, which controls your mood, your memory as well, your concentration, and your learning. So under sustained stress, this part of your brain actually shrinks. People who meditate, this part of your brain will come back to normal. So of course, if it shrinks, it'll impact your memory. It will actually impede your learning, and it can actually lead to depression as well if it's sustained. And so the amygdala is just the door, amygdala with a I believe. I think it's not a Y, but oh well. So when you experience fear, like I said, it just shuts the door on your magic, and there you have it. So basically, oop, pardon me. The $1 million question I have for you right now, because this is something that you will face next year. I can visualize it. It's going to be midnight. You're going to be marking papers. You're going to be planning. You're probably going to be drinking some kind of strong coffee, hopefully not coffee at midnight, but you never know. And so the $1 million question is, you're pushing yourself, you got work to do. Should you push yourself some more to get it done, or should you basically just go to sleep? I hope you know that at this time, you should go to sleep. Meditation a little bit, soothe yourself, and go to bed. Why? Because then you step away from the fire, you step away from the stress, because right now your amygdala is actually triggered from all the stress. Oh my God, I have to finish this. I've got to hand those tests back tomorrow. Your whole body is in a kerfuffle. And so basically, you need to get out of your head and step away from the fire. Like I said, meditation, 5 minutes. The breathing methods are fantastic. Go for a walk at midnight, maybe not, but get out of your head for sure. Dance in your kitchen, call a friend, and make sure it's a casual, relaxing interaction, not it's the end of my life conversation, because you want your brain to release the stress. Hug someone. Research says you need to hug someone, full body hug for 20 seconds. And for the love of God, people, just go to sleep knowing that you are doing yourself a favor because your brain in the morning will be open to all of your beautiful magic as opposed to exhausted, and you will be working on minimal power. Yes. And the other thing too, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but sometimes when you step away from the fire and you say, okay, whoa, too much, and you go for a walk, and while you're walking, all of a sudden, poof, the solution to whatever it is that you were thinking about that was not coming up for you has appeared. That's because your conscious brain is awake. That's because your piecing together abilities are back. It is truly magical. The brain is an amazing thing. Use it. So the other thing I would highly recommend as future teachers or new teachers is to plan for light days. Take a health day. What do I mean by that? Okay, so let's just, obviously, I'm Canadian. I'm talking to you right now from Cambridge, Ontario, and our school boards have a certain amount of days off that I will get into. But let's just say also that I am originally from France, and I know for a fact that every 6 weeks of teaching, teachers in France have 2 weeks off. They have their own issues in France. I'm not going to get into that right now, but the fact is that they get 2 weeks off mid-October to November. And we do not. So what I mean by planning for light days, actually schedule it in your plan, in your long-term plan, short-term plan, where you will have one day, pick a Friday, pick a Monday so that you can have a long weekend, where you can do activities that will be beneficial for everyone. And if it's a light day for you, make it a light day for your students. They're going to love you for it. They need a break too. Come on. This is crazy, right? So some of my favorites for light days is definitely apples to apples. I am a language teacher, French, English, Spanish. And apples to apples is great to argue your way into why your card is the best card. And so it develops the why, support your thesis, right? There's the World Press Photo Context is great for images to do any kind of brainstorming about world issues. This is amazing. Let them watch documentary. Let them read the news. This is all available online. And if you can, and you're doing research projects or any kind of in-class work, save it for a day, maybe not the first day where they're going to be a little bit lost, but let's say the second day of research, you might not have to be there, right? So go for it. Thou shall not feel guilty ever for taking a day off. I hope this is clear and you will be good to go. Why? When you feel good, you are a better human being. You're a better teacher. You're a better friend. You're a better partner. Your whole life is just better. So take those days off, you guys. You are the most important person in the classroom. Yes, the student is also very important. But if you're not functioning, if you're angry, if you're tired, if you're depressed, you are not serving anyone in any shape or form. So yes, I got some happy pictures of teachers with students. And then I found a picture of a captain because you are the captain of that class. Look at this lady. She's happy. She's owning it. And please, for the love of God, avoid looking like this. Pretty funny. I know. Sorry. Yes. So in Canada, at least in Ontario and in my school board, you get 10 days off, 10 days sick. They call them sick days. I would like them to be redefined as 10 health days, plus 2 personal days. So one can be for uh, just a personal day. You don't even need to explain why. And the other one is because of a marriage or getting a certificate or something like that, then you can take it off. And then after that, by the way, and this I didn't know for a while, if you are sick some more, it's not the end of the world. You will still get paid 90% of your salary. This is worth your mental health or your physical health for sure. If it means dipping into 3, 4, 5, 10 days at 90%, you might want to evaluate that you will end up winning in the end. So this is the school calendar. Basically, what I'm trying to say here, today is October the 5th, that between Thanksgiving, which will be, I think, on the 13th, on the 9th. Oh, it's already passed. Oh my gosh. Till the end of this year, 2023 right now for us, or every year, as a matter of fact, you will not have a single day off, guys. Yep, you heard me. So book time off. You might not have the luxury of 2 weeks like they do in France, in Wales, in the United Kingdom. They have 1 week in November, but you certainly can take time off. Treat yourself to a long weekend. Get back to yourself. The thing is, you're going to love teaching. You're going to love being with your students. You're going to have such fun. You're going to just have this flow of being with them and being in that moment with them, and you're going to see the light bulbs pop off, and you're just going to love that part of the job. But you will also feel exhausted, and it's okay. It's okay to love your students, be a responsible teacher, and take an easy day off for yourself. Those three go together. They're not exclusive to each other. So you will also have benefits, you guys, next year. So use them, especially massage therapy. You will have about 7 sessions. Book them ahead of time. Maybe book them on your easy day or your extra special day. You can take half days off too. I forgot to mention that. That's important too, just in case you didn't know. So what could your health day look like if it's a mini holiday? Really, anything you like. It can be you can sleep out of town in another little town Airbnb for 3 days. You can just do exercise. You can see a movie, go watch a concert. You can just stay at home and relax. Try not to watch Netflix 3 days in a row because obviously you want your brain to get some oxygen and get moving. Invite some friends over for supper. Take some salsa lessons. Whatever your heart desires, go do it. Have fun. Whatever brings you joy is what you should be doing that time. Okay. And of course, all of these healthcare issues are not just for those extra days. There's something that you're going to do to maintain your health throughout, right? What I mean by that is don't exercise once every month. Exercise regularly if you can. Sleep, like I said earlier, definitely sleep. So what if a parent sees you? Ooh, you're thrift shopping somewhere in a secondhand store because that's your jive, and there's a mom that sees you. Well, you know what? I can tell you from experience that I have, in some very difficult moments when I was not well, when I was really exhausted, when I was pushing myself to the breaking point, I was so tired and I got so angry and I was so, every little thing would set me off. And then one day I just ripped into a kid. Thankfully, it was a student, believe it or not, that I really loved. And so the parents came, it was a whole thing. And then we were able to love, hug, cry, and forgive each other. But what I'm trying to say is when this parent says, "Oh, hi, there you are, you're not at school." Nope, nope, I'm taking a day off. You don't really have to explain yourself, honestly, because that's your beeswax. It's not hers or his. But deep down, you could say, yeah, my buttons are being pushed these days at school. And before I rip one of my students' heads off, I prefer taking a mental day. So when I come back, I'm going to be my beautiful self, patient, compassionate, creative, peaceful. And any parent would rather have that kind of you instead of an angry, irritable person for their child. So there you have it. Building alliances, you guys, Hunger Games. You will find yourself a dream team. You can plan with them. Some teachers who have more experience than you, get them gift cards, flowers, bottles of wine. I don't care what it takes. And when you approach them with a super positive attitude, like, oh my gosh, you're the best. Can I please work with you? I'm gonna grow so much. Thank you so much. Blah blah. Just go for it. Don't take no for an answer because some of these people are busy, as we know. And you're going to offer your beautiful mind too because you've just gone through school. You have new things to contribute as well to this whole thing called building beautiful material to engage students in learning. And borrow. Ask for help and borrow whatever's been made. Hey, do you happen to have a unit on this? The likelihood of somebody having it is high. Again, they are going to have it in Google Classroom. There's some binders, I guess, in offices that still exist, but everything is in Google Classroom. Everything is in the Drive, and they can just share it with you. Again, be super friendly. Hi, this is so exciting. Oh my gosh, I'm teaching this, and I heard you were teaching it. I can't wait to learn with you. This is awesome. Use very empowering language. high energy, and these beautiful people are going to just love taking you under their wing. Yes, indeed. Setting healthy boundaries. Ooh, this is a good one. So with students, with parents, and even with yourself. Oh, yes. What do I mean by that? So with students, you're going to, of course, start the year off right. You are not there to be their friend. You're definitely going to enjoy their company. Some of them maybe less than others, and that's normal, but you're not their friend. So there needs to be really, really clear boundaries and consequences and no favoritism. If a student goes to the bathroom and is allowed to go, then everyone should have to be allowed to go. So make sure that your expectations at the beginning of the school year are crystal clear. If a student is disrespectful and you've already established that the next time they're going to be disrespectful, you are going to get them to leave, you're going to get them to leave. And make sure that you speak ahead of time of this issue, perhaps with an administrator or even the office where all the secretaries are, because this young person is going to go. There's a little white button on the wall, and you will say, I'm sending such and such a person at the office. Keep them there. I will come after class to talk to them. And for the love of God, don't let the office send them back to your class. And if they do, don't let them in. Press that button and say, I'm sorry, but that student is not allowed to come back into my class because it was really bad when I sent them away. So I will deal with him, but he's not to be reinserted in the class until I'm done talking with him, and so on and so forth. So boundaries. Abusive parents. So the thing is, the majority of parents are actually going to love you, appreciate you. Their kids are going to say beautiful things about you, but you can't please everybody. And that's the sad thing is we would love for everyone to love us. That's not going to happen. It's not a realistic expectation. So release this expectation and just stick with the facts. Stick with the facts. I was there. I invited him to come for lunch to get some extra help, and he didn't show up. So assuming a parent loses their mind and says, well, I need to talk to you in person, I'm going to come to school. The first year, do not, and I insist, do not expose yourself to that parent all by yourself in a little room because it's just not safe. Even if it's safe, it's not safe. Just go with a colleague, go with an administrator. With your first year, maybe even first 2 years of teaching, just have someone there with you. Honestly, it is just better. You will feel better and you'll control the situation better. Okay, so no meeting with a parent alone in your first year of teaching. Got it? Parent-teacher interviews. If the parent is abusive, stop everything. Say this conversation is no longer service the purpose of helping your son or your daughter. We will set a new appointment up with the principal or the vice principal, and I will let you know when that is. And if it's on the phone and they're like, rah, 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 I am hanging up now. And from now on, you will have to talk directly to my principal if you need to know anything about what's happening in my class. And you hang up. That's it. Yeah. And there's no reason for anyone to treat you like this because it's against the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom. You're allowed to feel safe. And right now you wouldn't feel safe. So there you have it. Boundaries with technology. Okay, so this is something that didn't exist when I started teaching in oh gosh, I can't even remember, 1994. I think the internet was just starting to get out there and so emails were there, but it was just like starting. But emails are the equivalent of a parent coming into your mental space. And that is simply not acceptable on the weekends any more than you would have somebody knocking at the door, knock, knock, knock. Hey, did you know that my kid handed in his assignment and blah, 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 and you didn't check, blah, blah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You do not have time for that. So, um, there's a thing called the Freedom app. It's fantastic. You can set it up so that it will be what sites you want to block off at what times. You choose your hours. You can tell the families and even your colleagues that in September, you're not going to take any messages over the weekend. And if it's an emergency, they have your phone number. They'll call you. Exercising, honestly, what do you want? What do you want to do that is reasonable? If it's just walking for half an hour before going to school, walking after school, so you can get your brain back because you're going to have a head swollen a little bit from all the noise. Whatever makes you happy again, physically, like go for a walk, go for a swim, bike rides, dancing, whatever will make your blood flow and bring back oxygen into your beautiful mind is healthy. How is your fun meter at school? Are you enjoying yourself? Are you enjoying your students? Are you having fun with them? And how is your fun meter outside of school? Or do you even have a life outside of school? It would be nice if you had a little bit of a life outside of school. What's fun for you? Define that and see if you can incorporate it into your life. So if you like to have fun, if you like games, bring them into your classroom. There's Jeopardies, there's a whole bunch of different things you can use. And then there's a scaling question system, which is fantastic that you can use for your students on a scale of 0, not at all, to 10, amazing. How much fun are you having right now inside of school? And then you can ask your students that the same question with, okay, on a scale of 1, not really, 10, this is the best class ever. How are we feeling, people, today? Give me a number. And then what happens is everybody's okay giving a number. It's okay to say 6. It's okay to say 2. There's no emotions. There's no, oh my God, a 2. What would it take to bring it up to a 3, people? And so it brings a little play into this conversation. Recognizing declining mental health, you will know. If you're starting to cry and you don't know why, you're discouraged all the time, you're not sure why you picked teaching as a career, you're impatient, you're bitter, you're judgmental, you're blaming other people, you're hard on yourself. These are all signs that you may be starting to feel a little bit of depression, so it's good to realize that. I guess there is no one with me right now, so no question and answers, no questions. Okay, so I just want you to know that that was lots of fun for me to share some tips of the trade so that you can start off next year um, with some extra tools in your toolkit. If you're currently in your first year teaching, I hope this helps you in some way to take care of yourself. Do take some time off for yourself and have a beautiful year. Your students are lucky to have you. And there you go. All right, till next time.